Ready to learn how to get started as a general virtual assistant? Now, for a while now, I have been getting a lot of requests on the different types of virtual assistants, how to do them, which one do I need to be. So I'm going to do a series for you guys on a step-by-step process on what each kind of virtual assistant can look like. And comment below if you guys have a special request of a kind of virtual assistant. If we film this far enough ahead, your request might be in the next video. So the first kind of virtual assistant, the most typical one that people get started with, is becoming a general virtual assistant. Now, what a general virtual assistant is essentially you are kind of a little bit of a jack or Jill of all trades. You're kind of doing a little bit of different tasks, different things for a client, and also honestly, it's the best way to get started if you've never had any experience before of being a virtual assistant. You can think of a general virtual assistant as kind of a more starting level if you're not really sure where you want to specialize in. However, I do know a lot of amazing general virtual assistants who've been doing this for years, and they love basically doing what it is that they do. So it could be that this is your starting point and you're doing this for years and years. We'll never know. Now, for a little bit of a deeper dive, what is a virtual assistant? So virtual assistant is someone who works directly with a client. Your client might highly be someone who is a business owner, or they are a manager of some sort where they couldn't be anywhere all at once and they've gotten a little bit overwhelmed. So then you are helping them with their day-to-day tasks. Especially as a general virtual assistant, you might not be focused on one area of their business or maybe of their life. Could be that you're doing a little bit of taking care of their business and taking care of their life as well. And we'll dive into that a little bit more. Now, the first step in becoming a general virtual assistant is you have to know what a general VA does. Now, the first couple tasks that you will spring into mind is email management and calendar management. Now, I do have very in-depth walkthroughs of how to do each of these tasks, but email management is essentially when you are managing your clients' emails, making sure that they get the right communications to them and you're taking care of the rest. So it could be filtering the emails, putting in the right labels. It also is responding to those emails or taking action for those emails. So as a really good example, I will have clients who will email me of like, hey, can we move the meeting from this certain time? Then my assistant will take action on getting that done, or moving the meeting. Or it could be like someone requested for something, my assistant will let me know, and then she will take action getting that done. So email management is kind of using the input. What I mean by input is your client essentially gets this input from everyone else in the world, whoever might be emailing them or contacting them or trying to get their time, and then you are filtering to make sure that they get the right input that they need and that you take care of everything else. The second type is calendar management, which is basically from an example of you might need to move certain things from your client's calendar because someone requested it, or booking times for someone who wants to have a call with your client. It's also generally just managing their life, making sure that things don't overlap, your client doesn't overbook themselves basically, and making sure that they're aligned to their priority. Other types of common tasks as a general virtual assistant is also personal life management. So as a really good example today, even had my assistant go ahead and book my dad on appointments for the doctor, or it could also be booking van or trips or helping me plan out my life a little bit. You might also be doing that for your client. It's you're helping them not have to worry or have to, if they're planning on a trip, you're booking the van, you're booking the plane, you're getting the hotel, you're taking care of all of that. Or that you could be booking, for example, like their weekly meal plan or their weekly groceries, whatever that looks like. The goal here is to take away the things that your client might not be the best at, or that might be the best use of their time, and you're taking care of their life. Another one is contact management, which is basically managing their network. So it could be like, hey, this person's birthday is about to come up. Do we want to send them something? Or hey, I saw on Facebook that this person just a milestone. Do we want to send them flowers? So it's some different things that kind of sprinkle through that helps the client's life just a little bit easier, to also remind them of certain people that they've met. It could be that they went to a networking event and you have to add them on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on different places so they can stay connected, or if they made a deal, basically a business deal, and you are there to guide that whole process, whatever that looks like. The goal for it here is, as a general virtual assistant, you're managing their contacts, their network. And of course, a more common one, which I will turn into more longer video of how to become a social media assistant, is that you you might also just be somehow, it might be that you're managing messages that they receive. It could be that you're posting for their social media. Whatever that looks like, it could be something that's very mild or something where all on the other spectrum where you're taking care of their social media as well. Now, the next step is, as you are getting to know the task and what that looks like, is you want to check who's hiring. What I mean by this is going to sites like linkedin.com or onlinejobs.ph or Google Jobs even, and just searching general virtual assistant and look at who's currently hiring. That way you have a pretty good idea of what tasks and what outcomes people are looking for a general virtual assistant to take care of. You can get familiar with it, which brings you to the next step as well of choosing who your client would be. So this is essentially who is your target audience. So if you're saying like, oh, I have no experience as a general virtual assistant, I'll take any client. You're gonna burn yourself out. I recommend picking a niche of people that you already like working with, of a niche that you're comfortable with. So for example, for myself, when I got started, I was working with a lot of authors because I love reading books. If you guys can't tell from my bookshelves, I have 3 more bookshelves in my room. So for me, it was easy for me to relate to the authors, to work with them, to be able to anticipate their needs later on because I was familiar with their industry or their niche. So start there. As you're looking basically at who is hiring for a virtual assistant, you can start already to get a sense of, oh, I would like to work on these actually. You're like, oh, this client looks very interesting. I wonder what they do in their business. So you're starting to get a better sense of what it could be like for you day to day. And it's going to make it easier for you later on to actually start applying for jobs that you have a niche in mind of who you want to target. Next is, as you now have your niche, your target audience, is you want to actually learn the skills. So it's going through the process of looking up maybe here on YouTube. I have an in-depth walkthrough that you can get started on. You could also be looking at courses, looking at mentors. It could be looking at maybe workshops in your area where you can join in and you can learn all of these skills. It could look like a lot of different things, but the main point of it is just learn how others are doing it so you can proceed to the next step, which is basically testing your skills. Now, what I mean by testing your skills is going ahead and maybe putting the email management to your emails, like creating your system of how you will manage your emails moving forward. It could be applying the counter management again to your own. It could be that you're asking a friend like, hey, this is a weird question, but can I go ahead and test out my email management system on your email? And like just seeing how it works, seeing how they like it, modifying it. So this is just testing and seeing if what you've learned so far, you're actually able to absorb. Next is become an intern. If you've never really had experience in becoming a general virtual assistant, looking for internships, and I know there's a lot of different companies to do it. I want to offer it one of these days, but basically looking for ways where you have a low risk way of seeing if you do have the skills and what it takes to become a general virtual assistant. Now you guys can search as well, virtual assistant intern on Google Jobs or LinkedIn or onlinejobs.ph. So then you can start applying and looking basically and hopefully getting the confidence to start applying for jobs in real time. Afterwards, maybe you've had a little bit of experience already, you've been able to test out your systems, is you want to go ahead and update your resume. Now there's 3 points that I want you to remember when you're updating your resume. First one is R, which is relevant. Make sure that you leave things in your resume that are relevant to the role that you want to apply for. Now, you want to make sure that you put in the past experiences that you've had, but you want it to relate to becoming a virtual assistant. So it could be maybe that you worked in a BPO or call center office. That could be, hey, I learned communication skills, I learned to talk to foreigners, I was able to do XYZ projects. So you're leaving things that are relevant to the role that you're trying to apply for. The second one is you want to make sure that it's updated. If you got certificates, if you went through courses, you want to make sure that's in your resume so it's up to date as much as possible. And S is summarize. Use bullet points. Don't make it a whole essay as you describe your work history. Make it super straightforward and easy for a recruiter to look at your resume and say, yep, this is the right person. Let's move them to the next stage of the funnel. And the next step is actually to start looking for work. Now, I already gave you guys a lot of pretty good ways you can get started. Again, Google Jobs, LinkedIn, onlinejobs.ph. You can start looking at the jobs. Maybe that you save the past ones that you researched for, of like maybe they're still hiring. Start applying for those. The thing to keep in mind when you're sending out the application letter or the cover letter is think of it as a response to their job ad. So make sure that you customize as much as possible. You're not just sending out mass applications. Be mindful and put in a little bit of effort. And most recruiters will see that and will actually be grateful for it. And they'll give you a higher chance essentially to be able to be be moved forward in that recruitment funnel. Next is make sure that you follow up. This is where a lot of people usually fall through, is they don't follow up with people that they have applied for before. There's a chance that your email sadly went to spam, or they opened it but never actually was able to respond to you, or that they got just a little bit overwhelmed and busy and they're just responding to whoever's on top of their inbox. So following up after 3 days, if you've really not heard anything at all, is a good practice to have to kind of keep you top of mind for the recruiter, for the potential boss that you're working with, and will also show that you're not someone who's not afraid to follow up, to bug someone if you want to move something forward. And of course, at this point, you'll have your first client. And when you have your first client, you're going to be figuring out routines with your client of what it is of the day-to-day. Do you have daily calls? Is it every other day? What are the main priorities? What are main tasks? What are the main objectives for a month? Or what are the priorities? Like, hey, this is the project that we're working on. This is a project we'll focus on, so on and so forth. And you guys will start syncing and learning together what it would be like to keep working moving forward. Now, I know I'm saying that as if it's the easiest thing ever to just get your first client, but it is more of a numbers game. The more effort, the more clients, or the more applications you do, of course, the more people are going to start reaching out to you. As long as you keep your resume relevant, updated, and summarized, you're going to start getting people who start noticing you, especially even if you can customize it all the way where you are sending your resume and your job title is the job title that they have on the ad and matching it basically. So a little bit more of, again, of an effort, but if you send it to the right person and they appreciate it, you know that you're going to be appreciated moving forward anyway. And of course, there's a lot more in becoming a virtual assistant, and you guys can find a lot of the content on my channel. So if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there. And again, comment below if you want me to dive into any other specific kinds of virtual assistants. I would love to know. And if you still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday and Thursday on how to work from home and how to have a business from home, which you guys can check out the super playlist right here and the latest video right here. Hope you guys have an amazing day. Remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!